Good morning and welcome to the end of March 2020 Be the Light meditation. We are in a very new, deep experience as humans and as individuals on our spiritual path. There are more questions than answers, but the information that I was given today, just kind of usually a half an hour before things drop in, and the voice said, tell them it's the best of times and the worst of times. And there's so many ways to look at that. You may say, well, we're having the worst of times. We're cut off from all of our usual entertainment, our friends, our food experiences. The money might dwindle. There's an immense amount of fear there. But it also has given you time to think and kind of put you in almost like a little square to have an opportunity to square your life away once we come out of this little box of containment, and to choose and prioritize what feels the best to you moving forward. And we have to stop all the distraction and thinking to come to any coherent space of that. So here, deep in the worst of times, what is coming forth, I feel, is the best of times for you as an individual and hopefully for our social systems. But you're on this because you are a linchpin, a tuning fork for resetting the larger systems. So let that sink in. Now, the other thing is, you may think that where we have just come from before the quarantine, self-isolation, some people are calling it not staying home or sheltering in, it's called artist in residence. So you're home and you are artistically recreating your own life experience from choice in every moment. And so we think we're coming for the best of times and we're having grief for all these things, but just think in this moment, what % of your life was actually principally full of happiness and your mission and activities and reimbursement? How much of it really was the best? I think this colossal personal reset time is giving us, as leaders of the new paradigm, an absolutely pristine golden opportunity to reset for ourselves and then be an example and mentor for others. So for years, we've been talking about don't expect the world to change yourself, and imagine that you are doing one step at a time. We can't see where this is going. We can't see the future, but we can hold an anchor in our own truth and guidance and integrity, and just use this time. I often take an old canvas that I think the painting had no technique, it was just creative and fun, and I actually paint over my canvases quite often. So your life is a canvas right now, and you get to re-articulate precisely. There's no excuse. You have all the time in the world. Most likely you have all the time in the world. So let me give you an example of this choice thing. I get up this morning at 6 o'clock. My partner's sleeping and I have hours, and I can choose to turn on the TV and connect into how many people have died today, what new environment. And I did briefly just to check in, but guess what? The TV didn't work. No signal. So plan B was to stretch. Actually, I stretched first. Okay, so I give myself a little check. We must use our will to help our physical body deal with these changes, because your physical body here is resting. It's learning to go to what I call 0 point. You're finding with less distractions, there's more time for your mind to expand and to go into deeper areas of old stories that no longer fit you. Do you see? This is all good, the best of times. Right now for you is the best of times. Do that last bit of house cleaning. So first I did the stretching and this and that, and I said, now what would I like? oh, warm goat milk. And I actually have that because I bought powdered goat milk. I'm able to stop and think and prioritize, and I'm not getting into what I don't have. I'm thinking of what I want and how to creatively get it. So we are learning to manifest deeply from a place where we're not leaving our houses and interacting or doing anything with other people. So you are gold panning and you're finding the nuggets that meet your resonance, your needs in that moment. So no TV, so I put on some beautiful music and my heart started saying painting. So I started painting. And as I shared at the beginning, I said, I want to be free of the human experience and I want to see the face of God. So this actually was like a 5-stage painting where I didn't know, and suddenly I saw her face. I saw her connection with spirit. And of course, when we do our own artwork, it's a message to moi, message to you. You write something, a little sonnet, a little today's blog, a painting, a book, and it's a message to you. Keep stepping on those steps. We don't know what's coming. And I've already shared with some of you that my messages that came through last week is that this is a great tribunal time, which means you are in kind of that priestess, high priestess state with yourself. How have I been part of creating this mess? You are forgiving yourselves, you're letting go of guilt, and you're making new choices of no compromise. So this tribunal, as you are getting cleared with yourself, of course, what happens in the micro, the personal, and the global, I do believe that as part of the divine plan, that there is a reckoning coming. That was word 2, reckoning, and awareness and transparency of some of the underlying social movements and agendas that have created what we thought was the best of times, but really was undermining human free will and souls and moving us away from the divine plan. So these beings, starting with ourself, everything, this is the year of the great divide. Those who have moved towards fear and those who are moving towards light. So the more we go towards light and raise the vibration, guess what? The greater the divide gets, the greater the light is on the other agenda. And I'm not saying there's right or wrong, because this is a earth mechanism to cleanse herself, and we aren't in judgment. We are just a very solid part of it. So the third word I got was jubilation. I'm like, oh my God, jubilation. Why would you be jubilant? Because something that has been holding you back and haunting you and feeling dense and hard is gone, and the human spirit and souls are in jubilation. And the last word I got was help is on the way. So I keep repeating that because I pretty much trust what comes through me. And I know my role in this, where we're at in this part of the story. And your story is on pause now. Who you were will not be the person going forward. So we say it's the worst of times, but I actually say what we're coming from was the worst of times and the best of times are to come. That's what I say. By you deciding and choosing. So some people that I'm working with on Zoom are finding, I am so anxious, I'm so anxious, I'm so anxious. And I said, well, all this time that you are experiencing this container of quietness and less to-do list is showing you your focus. It's showing you your mirror is magnified. It's absolutely magnified. And so what you're seeing and experience is showing you what really needs to be addressed. So this divine feminine image, and I'm going to say, since I said magnified, when you magnify the truth, that is a lens. The lens of the divine feminine is what we look through for absolute truth. Masculine lens is, how can I win? control, protect, and provide for getting all of the marbles in my own pyramid, and I'm at the top. The feminine is to magnify the truth, to magnetize everything that you need in the natural world for reciprocal resources, magnanimous, to have a magnanimous heart. And of course, Mary Magdalene is the face and one of the major leaders that is coming through women in their intuition, as she was the partner of one of the greatest light beings, teachers on the earth, Christ. Of course, I'm not saying that we're buying into a traditional religious story, particularly because the energy that Christ held was the same energy Buddha held. They were the same consciousness. History has played out different divine beings over time because different people will resonate the message from where they are holding. So this divine feminine lens, it's actually through the metaphor of Isis. Isis holds the interplanetary journey for the women to look through the lens of truth and magnify it through their souls of truth, beauty, love, integrity, and goodness. So this lens of Isis, her name is Isis because she loves everything unconditionally. What is. That's what Isis means. Remember, her masculine partner was Osiris was attacked by his brother. The men are attacking each other, slicing and dicing for pieces of the power control. This is not in the feminine realm. So we are assisting and supporting the masculine face of energies on earth right now. And some of you, I know you're holding an archetype piece of that very strongly, working through with your partners, with bosses, with authority figures. So all of this is occurring, and you have time. You have time to read. You have time to be. Okay, I just got a beautiful new book. Let me see. Here it is. Goddess Hearts by Deanna Carroll Williams. Now, wouldn't this be a wonderful place to rest your heart and soul right now and to have some inspiration? The Gaia Codex, also by Sarah Drew, is very meaningful for what we are going through right now. Okay, so that was just a preparation, a container. Now we will move into the actual tool that helps us access more light and bring so much light through in specific ways that we are releasing and dissolving anything that is keeping us from being free. So I invite you to get in a comfortable space with a nice straight spine, and we begin the Be the Light process. Okay, take a deep breath through your nose and out through your mouth. We ask and intend to still our minds, to let go of thought. Now that we have so much time, we are noticing how thoughts come and go. We ask and intend that we are resetting our mental field so that thoughts can come and go and we are not attached to those thoughts. There's no stickiness. We are observing our thoughts. We are neutral to our thinking. We are stretching the time between thoughts. We are allowing our nervous systems to come to a new place of reflection, peace, and calm. We are realizing and accepting this gift of time. We are using this to the highest degree to actualize even more self-awareness, control over our consciousness as we are learning the mechanisms, and prioritizing truly what is the very next step for us, for our well-being and our spiritual path. Let's take a deep breath through the nose and out through the mouth as we ask and intend to set a sacred space. We place a beautiful healing tent, a hold-on of balance over our entire body now. We call in any spirit beings, guides, assistants, the beings who oversee your life and are here to support us in many, many unseen ways. So we simply ask that they be here with us now. Feel the circle of love, of buoyancy, as you are already beginning to raise your vibrations. These beings unconditionally love you, and they are assisting, and if you allow, guiding you through this specific time in history of retuning and resetting yourselves and the larger global picture of which you are infinitely connected to. Take a deep breath and notice that your body is feeling safer, grounded, and happier in this moment. Let's ask and intend that we are anchoring in this feeling of right time, right place, right action. We haven't even connected fully with Source intentionally yet, and we are already holding a place of peace and a very high vibration. So we simply ask and intend to connect to Source. And we will do this in a slightly different way today. Acknowledge that you are sitting in a chair somewhere on Earth in a specific geographical location. Stay grounded in your body, but then imagine that your eyes can see way beyond your body. That your eyes can see that out, Earth has a surface, and out, say between 5,000 and 7,000 miles beyond the Earth's surface, there is a boundary there where the Earth energy, it becomes connected to a larger galactic lacy grid. So imagine that you are safe here in your physical body, but you are going to visit God. You're going to visit Source safely. You're going to traverse and immerse yourself in a beautiful, beautiful cloud of the purest, highest energy, which we call Source, safely and comfortably. And of course, we're using what Mary Magdalene calls the creative imagination, of which is endlessly resourceful. So take a deep breath and imagine that focus on your heart, and that your being is now being guided by your angelic helpers and soul being helpers up towards this outer boundary where Earth meets the great galaxy. And notice that you haven't totally left your body. Your physical body is still here, very safe, but you are on a trip, an experience to merge with Source. So imagine that there is a tether, a beautiful, safe, strong tether. Think of a tether ball. It goes and it moves around, but it never loses its connection. So you're in your physical body and you are gently imagine that you're flying as an angel would fly out towards this outer rim. So know that you are in both places at once, safely. Now you are moving past this outer realm of Earth, and you are witnessing and experiencing the galactic realm, the Milky Way, the other planets, the other beings and consciousnesses that guide and guard and are in beautiful agreements for universal laws. Now, for a moment, pause and look back to Earth. Notice that Earth is in a bit of universal decreed quarantine. Earth's people have taken on a fear of vibration that makes it difficult, if not impossible, for humans to live and be guardians for this beautiful planet. And that as day follows night, night follows day, the pendulum swings, that there is a new order for Earth chosen by the kind overseers and Source itself, that Earth needs a bath, a retuning. And you are watching as some major events are occurring to awaken, shaken, fear-based, new, explosive activities are occurring in the human consciousness. And you are witnessing this as a necessary activity, part of the zig and zag of change and growth, a transitional period. And you are noticing that you feel very at home out in this galactic corridor. And in fact, that you are a truth bringer. You are a visitor who travels in and out of this corridor with this tether on quite often in your unconscious. And that you have the ability to support this transition from Earth so powerfully and purely as you begin to understand more and more of who you are and why you chose to be incarnated at this time in history. So this is wonderful to be able to celebrate this. And I guess my little pressing that off didn't count for much. But we are going to segue now and turn our attention out now towards Universal Source. And so we are moving through with our guides. Just imagine that you are safely continuing to move through very beautifully and safely, and feel that you have entered a new sphere of a very high vibration. There are many orders of beings, and the actual orders are defined by vibrational realms. So you are safely entering a brilliant, bright, spherical creation that houses the magnificent consciousness of our Creator. Very gently continue to move forward, knowing that you are safe, that you are observing, and that you have all the protections that you need in place. Our goal is for you to know, to feel the connection and guidance and love of our Creator Source at this time of such unknown and confusion. So imagine let's use a biblical reference that you are sitting at the right hand of God, and there is a throne there with your name on it. Now you are sitting on this throne, and you are looking out into the multitudes of creation. And you are seeing that there are many, many universes, and there are many, many galaxies. And at the furthest edge is a brilliant little jewel called Earth. Earth has been sick. She's actually in the ICU. And she is asking to be connected back to source, to come out of quarantine. She is asking that the people on the earth help her reset and be healed with humans who will live sustainably, guided by the Creator's plan and love. Excuse me. So as you are sitting there, you are now imbibing, and through your veins, your arteries, your heart is bubbling the truth of the divine plan. And imagine the Creator is bringing a parchment book, and in that book, you see your name. You see your name, your role as a way shower, that you signed up, and that you are joyfully right in the middle of the story, the middle of the change, the falling apart before the rebuilding, before the jubilation. So just sit there for a moment, reveling in this vibration. So now imagine your human self sitting here at the same time. I'm going to clear my throat for 1 second. Giving you a little bit more time to sit on this throne. So imagine that you are seeing everything with the eyes of God. And you are looking back and you are seeing yourself sitting at your desk, your chair. And know that you have always had this connection with the Creator. Let that sink into your bones. This is your true home, and Earth is your home away from home, your second home. That your consciousness is a vibration and a facet of God's mind. And that Earth's mind has become tainted by imbalance of higher doses of masculine electrical energy. So you are asked to come and bring the magnetic energy of the feminine. So feel that into your bones and think of the ways through creativity, through your touch, through your eyes, through sharing, through collaboration, through communication, caring. All the ways that you can bring the magnetic energy to Earth. Take a deep breath and imagine that that divine plan with your name in it is now soaking into your heart. It is a part of your operational system. People say, well, I was born here on Earth, but I have no manual. So this is your manual. So imagine that you and your guides are on your way back. You are moving smoothly from the universal core. And God says, I'm keeping an eye on you. And you're smiling. And so off you go through this chute of light, just the right speed. And you are now entering the galactic vibrational realm. And you are now entering the earth vibrational realm. And notice how it feels slower, more dense. And imagine that you're feeling that, but you are holding the high vibration of source. You are holding the blueprint of the divine plan within you. So as you're entering the earth plane, we are making a protection around our body, a beautiful, golden, resilient ball of light, so that you are delivering, I hate to use the word bullet, you are delivering a potent medicine of high vibration for earth simply by being here. Your core, from the minute you're born, always vibrated at source's vibration. So in this moment, you are choosing to hold that vibration and come back down through the earth boundary, right back down into your body. And just imagine your chair, your throne with source, your chair, your throne here at home. Completely, profoundly, forever connected. Take a deep breath and ask, well, what does this entail? Your thoughts, your actions, your voice, everything about you is a breath of potential for bringing heaven to earth. This brings great joy, great trust in the outcome. One being in their full vibration outshines and dissolves 1,000 fear beings, 1,000 thought bubbles of fear. Feel into this and feel if it could potentially be the truth for you, for your perceptions. So let this energy on this trip, this little vacation trip we took together, vibrate down into your toes, into your fingertips, and just feel it without much thought, because it has a trajectory energy of its own. You don't have to make those to-do lists and goals in a similar fashion as you previously did, because you're now on a new order, a much higher order. You've graduated through this creative imagination activity to a new higher plane of thinking. So we ask and intend that this all align and stabilize in all of your systems, your mental, your emotional, and your physical body now. Excellent. So we'll let this kind of bubble through us, and I would encourage you that if this had a meaning for you that would translate into a creative activity, it might be nice to paint, to write, to bring something to make it real in this dimension as a touchstone. So in a couple of days, when you see that, the vibration of it will bring you right back in. Also, this is recorded. It will be available on the website, soundandlighthealingarts.com, by this afternoon. So thank you for joining me. This is the Be the Light process, where we simply ask and intend to set that sacred space. We call in the beings of light, and we choose how to work with source to discreate or create for our own highest good, knowing that we are healing archetypes for the planet and retuning all that is, beginning with ourselves. Thank you for joining me. I'm Jan Jorgensen here in Olympia, Washington. And now I will unmute everyone, stop the recording, and we can have a discussion.